The Airbnb group I was staying with kicked me out of a bed so a cooler guy could sleep in, but they forgot I was their only ride home, so I left them stranded in the mountains to remind them about respect. I, 22M, and my friend from college, 27M, were invited on a backpacking trip organized by a friend of his, whom he had met while backpacking in Colorado the year before. The girl, Kaylee, 25F, who organized the trip, had booked an Airbnb for all of us to stay the night after we got off the trail from a 3-day trek. There was room for 2 people in each of the 2 beds, and room for 2 on the pull-out couch. We all paid evenly for the Airbnb. Of course, we thought Kaylee should have priority for a bed since she had done all the planning, and there was a BF/GF couple as part of the 6 of us planning to stay in the Airbnb. So naturally, my friend and I felt we should take the pull-out couch, and this is how it was settled before we ever started the trip. However, midway through the trek, the couple had to turn around and head home. So now, there would only be 4 people staying at the Airbnb, and naturally, or so we thought, my friend and I assumed we would now sleep in a real bed. Along with the couple backing out, my friend and I became the only ride for Kaylee and the other guy, Tyler, to get back to the airport in Denver. After dropping them off, my friend and I would have a 14-hour drive back. Tyler is a relatively passive character in this story, as he didn't speak up much for either side and was already designated to share the bed, platonically, with Kaylee, so you won't hear much mention of him. So, when we arrived at the Airbnb, my friend and I set our things next to the real bed that Kaylee hadn't taken and took a cat nap on it. Enter, Chris Fisher. Kaylee had invited her friend Chris Fisher to come hang out for the night. Chris lived in Colorado, only a couple of hours away from where we were, and was apparently a celebrity of sorts in her circle. So, Chris came in, said hi to Kaylee and Tyler, and was briefly introduced to me and my friend, responding with a simple what's up to the introduction. Chris then started chatting with Kaylee and Tyler while my friend and I went into the room to organize our luggage. Suddenly, we heard Chris say, "I need a shower," and he walked into the room without a word to us, plopped his stuff at the foot of our bed, rummaged for his toiletries, and hopped in the shower. After Chris got out of the shower, the group started talking about going out for beers that evening. But knowing we had a 14-hour drive ahead of us the next day after dropping Kaylee and Tyler off at the airport, I told them I was going to stay back and get some sleep. Chris had left his bag on the bed, so I moved it to the counter in the living room so he wouldn't forget it. According to my friend, he spent the entire evening in Grand Lake with the biggest douche he had ever encountered. Fisher couldn't stop talking about the obscure world records he had broken or set in the world-renowned sport of bridge running, including his records for the most elevation gain in a day by repeatedly going up and down a particular mountain. Kaylee was apparently eating it up, utterly starstruck. If you've seen the movie The Other Guys and remember how everyone reacted to The Rock and Sam Jackson's characters, that was exactly Kaylee's demeanor, according to my friend. After returning from the soul-sucking hour, my friend was more than ready to bid Mr. Fisher adieu and never see his face again. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. Kaylee was furious that I was still in the bed. She wanted Chris to have it and brought up the fact that my friend and I were originally designated for the pull-out couch. My friend stood up for us, arguing that not only did it make sense for us to take the real bed since it was now available, but also that Fisher hadn't contributed anything for the trip. We weren't even told until the last minute that he was coming, and most importantly, I was already asleep in the bed. Kaylee was apparently refusing to have it any other way and wouldn't stop hammering the issue. Finally, Tyler came and woke me up to sleep on the floor. It was around midnight, and we needed to be out by 6 a.m. I stumbled into the kitchenette in a sleepy stupor. This is where I got a real taste of the douche that is Chris Fisher. For 2 hours, in the kitchenette just 8 feet away from the couch Kaylee insisted we sleep on, my friend and I had to sit and listen to Kaylee and Fisher drone on about their outdoor adventure prowess. They kept boasting about how great they were at skiing, snowboarding, and setting fastest known times on trails. I had no idea until that moment that vacation activities could be such a flex, but they proved that one could make them their entire personality and the pinnacle of their life's accomplishments.